Alright, what's up guys? In today's video, we will be discussing why most of your training as a hybrid athlete shouldn't be hard, okay? And so what prompted me to make this video is that a lot of people have accused me of being on steroids. They accuse a lot of other hybrid athlete influencers of being on steroids, even though a lot of them aren't. And I will be discussing some misconceptions. And okay, just some background about me before we start. I have been bodybuilding for 8 years. I've been running for 16 years. I've been cycling for 11 years. And I've been bodybuilding and running and cycling concurrently for 8 years. Okay. So a couple of misconceptions. One is that there's not enough recovery, right, in between sessions to do all this constant volume and work. And they claim that it's impossible to train without steroids. So for me, for example, I train anywhere from 16 to 30 hours a week. I lift 7 days a week. I run 6 days a week, and I cycle 5 days a week. I walk every day. And so for example, I'm running 70 miles a week, and I'm lifting heavy, and I'm cycling. And people think that's like too much work to do. Um, they think that it's impossible to recover from that without steroids. But the thing is, first of all, let's set a couple things straight. Okay, I've been running for 16 years. Okay, it's not like I all of a sudden just decided to go on a 70-mile, just start running 70 miles a week. I started running like 8 miles a week, and over the course of years, built myself up to 70 miles a week. Okay, and even when I started bodybuilding, I was just doing 25 miles a week for a very long time. Then I got back into running more seriously, 30 miles a week, 40 miles a week, 50 miles a week over the years. Okay, and so people say there's not enough recovery, but what they don't realize is that my body and a lot of other hybrid bodies have built this adaptation to where like running 50 miles a week is not difficult whatsoever. If I'm just doing, if I'm running 6 days a week, and they're all zone 2 aerobic runs, for example, if I've been doing this for years and my body's built up that tolerance and strength, 50 miles a week at zone 2 isn't going to do anything. It's not going to affect me whatsoever. It's going to be incredibly easy, especially over the course of 6 days. What is that, like 8 miles a day, 8.5 miles a day, really 8.25 miles a day? So it's really not that bad once you build up to it. Okay, so of course you don't start out running 70 miles a week. You build up very slowly over time, and if your body isn't recovered from the workload, you reduce that stress. Um, so for example, I lift 7 days a week. So my routine. And people think it's impossible for me to recover from my lifting, but it's actually not, because I've built in a system to make it very recoverable. So I lift 7 days a week. 4 of the days are heavy, and 3 of the days are high volume. Okay. So Monday I do shoulders, forearms, incline barbell bench. I do that from a heavy day. Tuesday lats and biceps heavy. Wednesday chest and triceps heavy. Thursday lats and shoulders high volume. Friday biceps and triceps high volume. Now I'm a bodybuilder, so I train like a bodybuilder. All right. Lots of drop sets. Saturday I do traps and incline dumbbell bench, or incline dumbbell bench press heavy. Now, you see, I include my incline dumbbell bench heavy on Saturday because it gives me time to rest in between Wednesday. Because I can't do heavy barbell bench and heavy dumbbell bench in the same day. That's too much work. And I do legs heavy. So that's really 2 high volume days. But I treat legs are basically a recovery day for your upper body. That's my lifting routine. And the way for example, I've developed a system to where it makes like overtraining impossible. So when I increase a working set, so for example, right now my working set on bench press is 245 4x6. I increase 1 rep each week until I can do 3x8, and once I can do 3x8, I add 5 pounds to start over. So here's an example. 3 weeks ago, I started out at 245, 4 sets of 3. I add a rep each week, 4 sets of 4. Next week, 4 sets of 5. Week after that, 4 sets of 6. Week after that, 4 sets of 7. Week after that, 3 sets of 8. So I'm staying at one weight for 6 weeks, okay? And then I'll add 5 pounds, do the same thing again. 4 sets of 3, 4 sets of 4, 4 sets of 5, 4 sets of 6, 4 sets of 7, 3 sets of 8, okay? I add 5 pounds. This is it takes a long time to increase your working strength, or you're increasing strength, but it takes a long time to increase the weight that you're lifting. But at someone at my level, it's supposed to take incredibly long. Okay, like I'm at 100 pound. My working set for dumbbell press is 100 pounds. It was 105, but I had to deload. It was 100 pounds. It's going to take a very long time. It's extremely difficult to go from 100 to 105. If you guys have never done it, going from something like 100 to 105 and the incline dumbbell bench or incline dumbbell shoulders, the amount of stabilization needed to just get those up is remarkable. Okay, it's night and day difference between 100 and 105. All right, so like progress takes very, 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 very long. Um, yeah. So, but for running, I run 6 days a week. I run 6 days a week, but really 5 of the days I run are easy relative to my capabilities. Right, I'll do four. I'll really do 5 aerobic runs, but I'll do 4 aerobic runs. Right, if I'm running 70 miles a week, I'll do 4 aerobic runs, anywhere from like 8 to 10 miles. Really 8 to 12 miles, but I'd say 8 to 10 is more normal. Maybe one midweek long run. My midweek long run is probably 12 miles. So 8 to 10 miles with one midweek long run. That's a 12 miles ish. I'll do one workout. Okay, this is the high intensity, and the thing is, my workouts aren't always even incredibly high intensity. It's not like they're always super anaerobic. Like sometimes it'll be a threshold depending on where I am in my training block. If it's earlier on in the training block, I'll do lots of threshold work, and threshold work isn't super high intensity. Like your threshold is a pace you can sustain for an hour, and my threshold workouts, as someone trying to run a 5K under 20 minutes, my thresholds are never over 25 minutes. Like I build up to 25 minutes as the longest threshold I do, and that's in like the base building block. Like I do a lot of threshold work when I'm trying to build strengthen my foundation, strengthen my aerobic strength. That's early on in the season. Okay, I'll do some VO2 max work on a track. These are more high intensity, but VO2 max is close to like 2 mile and 5K pace. So while it's high intensity and it's higher intensity, it's still not super, super, super hard, right? Because it's at a pace you can run 2 miles to 5K. And I'll do something like, 5 by 1,000, 6 by 1,000, 8 by 1,000, 8 by 600, 8 by 800, 9 by 600. And these are all anywhere from 2 mile to 5K pace. And then I'll do some anaerobic work. I'll do, depending on where I'm in the season, I'll do 10 by 200, 30 seconds rest, at like in between a mile and 800 pace, stuff like that. I'll do 300s, which is more anaerobic. And I do strides 2 times a week. So after my aerobic runs, I'll do some strides. The point of strides is to develop power, develop speed, and help with your turnover, right? So I'll do those twice a week. I'll do strides flat. So I'll do strides on the road, and then I'll do strides uphill. I'll do like 5 by 100 meter strides after like a 10 mile run, and then I'll do like 5 by 100 meter uphill strides after like a 8 mile run. I'll add 50 meters to that each week, so I'll build up to 250 meters. And once I get to 5 by 250 on both flat and uphill, I'll reduce it and go back down to 5 by 100, because the purpose again is just to develop speed, power, turnover. And I'll do one long run. My long runs are a minimum of like 15 miles, so easily 2 hours. I'm hitting 2 hours at least in my long runs, but shortest 15 miles, highest probably 20 miles. It doesn't need to be that high for a 5K, but I want my transition from 5K prep to marathon prep to be pretty smooth, right? So I don't need to run that far, but I want to go into marathon prep already having my legs very strong, for that transition, right? So 5 of my days are like relatively easy. My long run is at a zone 2 pace. These are at zone 2 pace. And for those of you who don't know, a zone 2 pace is a pace at which you can have a comfortable conversation with someone. So for me, that's like, it just depends on the day, but like 7:30 to like 8 flat. And now I cycle 5 days a week. Again, I've been cycling for 11 years, but similar to running, cycle 5 days a week. If the weather's bad, if it's in the winter, I'm on the trainer. If it's nice outside, I'm outside. But I'll have 4 aerobic rides, which is basically just like a zone 2 ride, which is like one longer ride, um, which is like 3 hours. I do Olympic. When I do go into triathlons, I'll do Olympic distance. So like the longest Olympic bike races, or the bike leg of an Olympic triathlon is anywhere from 24 to 25 miles. So my longest ride is like 3 hours, so like a 60-mile ride. I don't really go over 3 hours. I don't need to. I'll do one workout, and that just depends on where I am in the season. It'll be something like a threshold or a VO2 max workout. So a threshold would be, you know, 3 by 10 minutes at my functional threshold power, 2 by 20 minutes at my functional threshold power, or VO2 max. So it'll be a lot higher power but shorter duration. So like 4.4 minutes at my zone 6 power. Um, 40 40s, 40 seconds on, 8 by 40 40s. So I'll do 8 sets of 40 seconds on and 40 seconds off, at VO2 max or zone 6 power. Um, 5 by 5s at VO2 max power, stuff like that. So higher intensity, get the heart rate high. And similar to running, we'll do sprints 2 times a week. So I'll do like 5 by 15 second sprints at like, close to 1,000 watts, 2 times a week, just for turnover, power, speed. And so, but the point I'm trying to make is most of the stuff I do is easy. Okay, right? One hard workout a week, and again, just depending on where I am in the season, the workout's not even that impossible. One hard workout in a week. Now, depending on where I am, the workout isn't even that hard, right? Like I can recover from it. For lifting, right? Like there's quite a few heavy days, but I can recover due to the high volume days and the leg day and how I have things spread out and my training in general. Like there are some days on my heavy days where I don't go above 3 reps. And of course, if I'm not going above 3 reps, I'm not going to get too tired. I'll be able to recover. The point I'm trying to make is this is possible without steroids, and the recovery is built in. And again, if you've been doing this for years, right? You don't start. Of course, people on Reddit accuse me of being on steroids because it's not like someone who hasn't been running their entire life. I've been running for 16 years. That's almost 60% of my life. I'll be 29 next week. Um, so yeah, of course, I didn't start running 70 miles a week. I didn't start cycling, um, you know, 5 days a week. Especially while bodybuilding, I built up slowly. When I first started hybrid training 8 years ago, before it was even popular, I was running 25 miles a week. I would run 2.2 miles to the gym, 2.2 miles bike home. Cycling, I would cycle to class, cycle to work, cycle home. Okay, so it built up slowly over time. And again, I had a foundation when it came to running and cycling. I've been doing it since I was a child. But anyways, that is what I got for you guys today. If y'all are interested, I offer coaching, one-on-one coaching, how to become a hybrid, how to bodybuild, how to um, bodybuild and run long distances, all that good stuff. Links in the bio if you're interested. And if y'all enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.